I didn't think much of it when I took the photo. It was supposed to be just another picture, one of those quiet, forgettable moments you capture without thinking twice. The sun had just started dipping behind the hills, leaving a pale orange glow across the empty park. The air was calm, almost too calm, and the old playground creaked softly in the wind. I raised my phone, pointed it toward the empty swings, and tapped the screen. Click. I remember looking at the photo immediately afterward. It looked normal. Just the swings hanging motionless, the fading sunlight, the dark tree line behind them. Nothing unusual. Nothing out of place. I locked my phone and headed home. But that night, while scrolling through my gallery, something strange caught my eye. The photo. For a moment, I thought my screen flickered. I stared at the picture again. The swings were still there. The trees were still there. But something in the background felt wrong. I zoomed in slowly, my fingers trembling just a little. Behind the swings, near the tree line, there was a shape. At first, I thought it was a shadow. Maybe a person passing by when I took the picture. But the longer I stared at it, the less it made sense. The shape was tall, darker than the shadows around it, and it seemed to be standing perfectly still between two trees. And then I saw it. Two pale spots. Eyes. They were faint but clearly there, staring straight at the camera. My first reaction was simple logic. Maybe someone was standing there when I took the photo and I just didn't notice. Maybe the lighting made their face look strange. But something about the eyes unsettled me. They looked too bright, almost reflective, like an animal caught in headlights. I zoomed in further. The figure didn't have a clear face. No visible features. Just darkness where its body should be, and those two pale eyes staring out from it. I sat there in silence, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Then my phone buzzed. The screen refreshed, and the photo shifted slightly as my gallery reloaded. And that's when I noticed something that made my stomach twist. The eyes were closed. I froze. I was absolutely certain that seconds ago, the eyes in the photo were open. I had been staring at them the entire time. Bright, reflective, watching. But now, the figure looked different. The eyes were shut, like someone blinking mid-photo. I told myself it had to be my imagination. Maybe I hadn't noticed the blink before. Maybe the image compression changed something when the gallery refreshed. I exited the photo, took a deep breath, and reopened it. The eyes were open again. I felt a chill crawl up my back. I stared at the image without moving, barely breathing. My brain searched desperately for explanations, glitches, editing errors, reflections, anything. Then it happened again. The eyes closed. Slowly. Not like a glitch. Not like a frame change. Like a blink. I dropped the phone onto the bed as if it had burned my hand. My heart pounded so loudly I could hear it echoing in my ears. For a long moment I just sat there, staring at the phone like it might move on its own. Finally, I forced myself to pick it up again. The photo looked normal. The eyes were open. But now I noticed something else. The figure wasn't in the same place anymore. It had moved slightly closer to the swings. I zoomed in again, panic building in my chest. The shape was still blurry, still shadowy, but there was no doubt about it. It was closer. I began scrolling back and forth between the photo and the gallery preview. Each time the picture loaded, the figure seemed a little different. Not dramatically. Just a subtle shift, like someone slowly stepping forward between frames. I counted the distance between the trees and the swings. The first time I opened the photo, the figure had been near the tree line. Now it was standing halfway across the grass. My throat went dry. The photo had been taken hours ago. There was no way anything inside it should be changing. I stared at the screen again. The eyes blinked. And this time, when they opened, they were looking slightly upward. Not at the camera anymore. At me. A cold wave of dread washed over me. I lowered the phone slowly, but curiosity, or maybe fear, forced me to lift it again. The figure was closer. So close now that I could make out the outline of its shoulders. Still no face. Still just darkness. And those pale eyes. Blink. I shut the photo and locked my phone. For several minutes I just sat there in the quiet of my room. The house felt different now. The silence felt heavier, like something was waiting just outside the walls. Eventually I convinced myself to open the gallery again. But the photo was gone. I checked every folder, every backup, every cloud album. Nothing. It had completely disappeared. For a moment I felt relief. Maybe it had been some corrupted image that got deleted automatically. Maybe my phone had glitched. I placed the phone down on the nightstand and turned off the light. The room fell into darkness. Just as I started to drift towards sleep, my phone screen lit up by itself. A notification appeared, not from any app I recognized. Just one line of text. New photo saved. My hands trembled as I picked up the phone. There was only one image in the gallery. The same park, the same swings, but the picture looked different now. It wasn't taken from the hill where I had been standing earlier. It was taken from the playground itself, right in front of the swings, and in the reflection of the phone's black screen within the photo. Someone was standing behind the camera. Tall, featureless, watching. The eyes were closed. I stared at the image, unable to breathe. Then the eyes opened, and my phone's front camera turned on.